Had a bloke in last Tuesday. Lovely fella, takes care of his car, does everything by the book, or so he thought. Ended up with an 800 quid repair bill because of something he does every single time he fills up. And the thing is, I see this constantly. People trying to do the right thing, but nobody ever told them what actually matters at a petrol station and what's just noise. So I'm going to walk you through the real ones, the mistakes that cost you, the myths that don't, and a couple that could genuinely put you in danger. You know what I see all the time at petrol stations? The pump clicks off and people squeeze in just a bit more. Round it up to the next dollar, make the gauge look perfect, that sort of thing. Thing is, when that nozzle clicks, the tank is full enough. Anything after that can force liquid fuel into parts of the car that are only meant to handle fuel vapour. There's a little vapour system with a charcoal canister that's designed to catch fumes, not drink petrol. When it gets soaked, it can start acting up. In the real world, that shows up as a check engine light, sometimes a fuel smell, rough idle, or a hard start right after you've filled up. In the shop, it often comes in as EVAP leak codes like P4442, P4455 or P4456, and people swear it only started after I got gas. Yeah, that tracks. And it's not a cheap little mistake. A charcoal canister can run you about $350 to $725 depending on the vehicle, and EVAP repairs in general are often $200 to $600. So here's the rule. First click, you're done. Every time. Alright, another one I see all the time. People driving around with the fuel light on like it's a personality trait. Here's the simple bit. Your fuel pump lives in the tank and it uses the petrol around it to stay cool and lubricated. When you're always down near empty, there isn't much fuel to help it out. So the pump runs hotter, works harder, and it wears quicker. And honestly, it's usually not that one time you run it bone dry. It's the routine of, I'll get to it tomorrow, over and over. That repeated heat stress cycle is what finishes them off. One more thing, when the level's really low, you're more likely to pick up water and muck from the bottom of the tank. That can head towards your filter and injectors, and you'll feel it as little hesitations or a rough spot under load. The usual progression I hear is slight stutter, then longer cranking after a fill-up, then you start hearing the pump whining, and then one day it's just a no start and you're meeting a tow truck. In my 20s, I did the same thing. I treated the fuel light like a suggestion until I was sat on the highway at night waiting for a recovery truck. Not my proudest moment. Rule of thumb, fill up at a quarter tank. That light means now, not challenge accepted. And a pump job is commonly $800 to $1,500, more like $2,200 plus on some nicer cars. I see this one all the time at the pump. Folks automatically hit premium because they think it's the good stuff. And look, I get it. If you're already spending money, you want to do right by the car. But the reality is, a lot of drivers are just donating cash. The numbers floating around are roughly $2.1 billion a year in the US on premium fuel that engines don't actually need. Something like 16.5 million people paying extra for no real benefit. Here's the only question that matters. Does your fuel door or your owner's manual say premium required, or does it say recommended? If it's required, don't argue with it. The engine is built to run on that higher octane. If you cheap out, it'll usually pull power to protect itself, and doing that long term isn't a great plan. If it only says recommended, in normal day-to-day driving, most people won't feel a difference. You're usually just spending more, not saving anything. And one myth I want to kill: premium cleans the engine better. Not really. The cleaning additives are more about whether the station is top tier, and if they are, that typically applies to all grades, not just premium. So the rule is simple. Match the octane to what the car asks for, and if you want better, choose top tier, not automatically premium. Now be honest with me, are you premium team or regular team? And if you switched back to regular, did you notice any difference at all? Drop it in the comments, I'm genuinely curious. You know what I still hear at the pump? Don't use your phone, you'll blow the place up. Truth is, as far as anyone's been able to document, there isn't a single confirmed case of a mobile phone lighting up a gas station. The real trouble is boring old static electricity. In the US, there are roughly 100 fuel station fires a year linked to static, and most of them happen when people get back into the car while it's fueling. You hop in, slide on the seat, hop back out, grab the nozzle again, and you can get a little spark right where fuel vapor is hanging around. Winter, dry air, and synthetic clothes make it worse. I've actually seen it once, station in Ohio. Lady got back in to grab her handbag, came back out, touched the nozzle, and whoof, small flash. Nobody got hurt, but you don't forget it. So the rule I stick to, once you start fueling, don't get back in the car. If you absolutely have to, touch bare metal on the car away from the filler first, then go back to the nozzle. See? Nobody tells you that. If this kind of stuff helps you out, hit like and drop a subscribe. It costs you nothing and it helps me keep sharing the real-world tips. This happens more than you'd think. Someone's in a rush, the pump handles look the same at a new station, and they put the wrong stuff in. Then they're embarrassed, so they try to just drive it home and deal with it later. That's how a small mistake turns into a very expensive day. Worst one is petrol in a diesel. Diesel parts rely on the fuel for lubrication. Petrol doesn't lubricate the same way, so the fuel pump and injectors can wear out fast, and if they start shedding metal, that junk can go through the whole system. That's where you hear numbers like 5 grand and sometimes 10 plus. Diesel in a petrol car usually runs rough, smokes, may stall, and it can clog things up. E85 in a non-flex fuel car tends to set misfire or running lean faults and run poorly. One accidental fill usually isn't the end of the world, but don't keep doing it. The rescue rule is simple. As soon as you realize, don't start it. Don't just move it. Get it towed, tell the driver what went in, and have the tank drained and lines flushed. On diesels, you often want the filter changed too. We had a BMW X5 in last week. Customer put petrol in the diesel and drove just home. Final bill was a bit over 8 grand. Not because she's unlucky, because it was started and driven. One of the silliest reasons I see for a check engine light is also one of the cheapest, the gas cap. Someone comes in worried the car's about to die, and 9 times out of 10 it's just the system that checks fuel vapors saying, hang on, I think there's a leak. A loose or tired gas cap looks exactly like a leak to the car. You'll often see a code like P0457, which basically translates to, mate, tighten your cap. Before you stress or pay for a big diagnosis, do a quick check. Take the cap off, have a look at the little rubber seal. If it's cracked, flattened or missing bits, that's a problem. Then put it back on and twist until it clicks. Properly clicks, not that'll do. If the cap was the cause, the light usually goes out after a few normal drives. If it doesn't, just replace the cap. They're often 10 to 60 bucks and it can save you chasing your tail. Little habits at the pump can turn into big bills later. This is one you can fix in your driveway.